The skill I and plenty of others have mentioned online countless times is becoming a reality. RuneScape's 29th skill is going to be Necromancy. Here's the official teaser they showed on the livestream and just published to YouTube. So, the new skill is going to be Necromancy, not some boring skill like sailing. No, Necromancy sounds dark, evil, and mysterious. Will it be combat based? Will it be combat support? Will it be something entirely different? Well, the truth is, we don't know. This teaser was shown at the end of a 2-hour-long livestream, and sadly during that livestream not much was mentioned about the skill apart from one tiny detail which I'll be covering in just a second. So we don't actually know what kind of skill this is going to be. We do know that it's not going to be an elite skill, because the JMod said that this skill will be available to every single player on release, much like Archaeology was.
So it's a little complicated. So one of the key things about the new skill is that we don't want to gate that behind other content. New skills are a really important thing for everybody to get involved with. The current existing highly engaged players, lapsed players, new players can all get engaged with the new skill. So in that regard, we don't want to gate it. So the storyline will not lock the skill. And the way that we've resolved that narratively is that the skill kind of starts in its own place, but then it will later merge with the story.
So we now know for a fact that this will not be an elite skill like Invention was, with 3 skill requirements. Although that being said, the skill could very well combine 3 or more skills into one in terms of its activities, much like Archaeology is a combination of a few skills as well, even though it's called Archaeology. In a video I made over 3 years ago, I covered a Necromancy concept set up by another player in detail, which probably won't be anything like the real skill, but some elements in that document could be part of this skill. To no surprise, that video right now is getting a ton of views out of nowhere because people are scrambling for bits of information on this skill. There also seem to be over 50 people in the actual document I link in that video right now, which is, well, not surprising either. Anyways, in that document, or better said, in that concept, 3 different skills are mentioned, being runecrafting, summoning, and magic. These are 3 logical skills that could be part of necromancy-like activities. You know, magic in general, runecrafting, because maybe you'll be able to make new runes, maybe those are the new icons we're seeing on the side of those necromancy letters in the reveal teaser, and of course summoning because you summon the undead. I don't think that's anything new, that's exactly what necromancy is, summoning the undead. I don't doubt for a second that we're going to see things related to summoning undead, or getting some form of new combat abilities or passives related to necromancy. But how are we going to train the skill? Surely it won't include us just using things on existing monsters to then gain XP. That's what Invention is like, by leveling items. Are we going to level up an undead summoning familiar that has a permanent effect? Can we give it abilities? Will it activate abilities like a sort of follower? Are they going to add a brand new area or multiple areas for this skill to level up, like Archaeology? In that case, how would we train the skill? Are we going to kill things with combat? Surely not, right? Are we going to siphon of undead enemies like in Runespan, except you're actually harvesting from undead creatures? That could be how it works. But maybe that's too logical and too similar to existing skills. Perhaps this will be something entirely else. Or perhaps it will be an extension to the combat system in RuneScape. For us players, I truly hope it's going to be a unique skill, and I am very excited to see what this skill has in store for us. As both a content creator and player, new skills are by far the most exciting thing to be a part of. But yeah, all we know for now is that this skill is releasing in 2023, will have no requirements and is easy to access for every single player, and I'm going to go ahead and say that purple and this ghost-like green are going to be the 2 colors part of the skill cape. Just, why else would they have used it? Let's be honest. Let me know what you think of this skill down in the comments below, but I'd like to continue by covering the other information shared about 2023's content in the livestream. starting with dev costs and the GE tax. So for those that don't know, the dev cost rework is basically going to reduce the cost of devs by up to 80% or more by giving devs a flat 0.1% fee of the item's value. If you happen to die twice, your items will be placed in the overflow inventory, which has up to 50 slots, but will cost 10 times as much as regular devs items to reclaim. And it only has 50 slots. If it happens to be full, cheaper items will be replaced by more expensive items when coming into that inventory. As you can see, food and potions will be stackable, so don't worry about an inventory of sharks displacing your items. There will also be a new in-game UI teaching you about devs mechanics as part of this dev cost rework, including a lot of useful information about dying, including protecting more items on death. They also showcase the brand new Ring of Death mechanic, which will now revive you at full health and give you a damage over time effect for 3 whole minutes, which will increase as time goes on. So it will allow you to finish off a boss you're killing, but it will make it significantly harder. And if you're wondering, it will work similarly to a Sign of Life in terms of mechanics.
Because it is a big kind of deal. Does it work on insta-kills? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think it doesn't. It would follow the same rules as a regular Sign of Life sort of effect.
As for the GE tax, it should be releasing alongside this update, and the reason it's a 2% tax instead of 1% is because that's the exact number that will offset the change in dev costs according to Mojang. That being said, the max cash update, so the 2.147 billion times 1,000, is not coming and is delayed due to some technical difficulties.
Yeah, so
Where is it?
this update got delayed because there was I don't understand the technical details, but there was a delay with implementing the max cache change. That's actually quite a complex engine change.
There's also a new event coming in January, and instead of free deaths with overload golems, we'll get a daily buff that will give you 3 rolls on rare drops once per day on your first boss kill after claiming it from the Raptor NPC. This will not work for pet drops, but will work using Death Touch Dart, so you can use Death Touch Dart on a random boss, but what it essentially is a 3-in-1 boss kill. That's all it is, and it's a daily. It doesn't really seem that exciting to me. I would have at least liked to see the overload golems and free devs return as part of this event, even though the dev costs have been reduced. They also talked a bit about the storyline coming up, the Forinthry Fort storyline, which will be 1 to 2 years long opposed to just 6 months like the Legacy of Zamorak series. They want to start out modestly and will slowly build up from there. Now, as part of this storyline, a bit of content is releasing that is going to be a brand new construction training method, which I like to call player-owned forts. The Jagex moderators don't want to call it player-owned anything, but I will call it player-owned forts. This new activity will require level 1 construction and a mini quest to access or to get started with. They want it to be a social place like player-owned farms and not instanced like player-owned ports where you can't see other players. The activity will not be time-gated like the Anachronia base camp, and you'll be able to build part of the fort instantly using construction materials. Much like the Infernal Puzzle Box, more buildings will be added as part of this new series and new content as it gets added, allowing you to get more and more buffs from this player-owned fort. While it will be related to the wilderness and perhaps even placed into the wilderness as it will be placed northeast of Varrock, there will be no wilderness threat inside. This was a question answered by the JMods on stream. They also talked about the Jagex accounts, which are going to be an all-in-one account with all of your characters accessible from one location easily, which will be free of charge and available to both free-to-play and pay-to-play players. As I understand it, this is one step further than the Jagex client, which over 100,000 players have used and continue to use every single day, according to the JMods. If everything goes to plan, this will be accessible to all players in an open beta in early March 2023. Finally, before I end the video, I do want to mention that we're going to get an announcement or news post from Jagex about the recent server issues, as that was mentioned at the start of the stream. With that being said though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.